Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to bring to you the next interview in my Be Good to You video series with my good friend, Sharon Fleischer. I am so excited to interview her today. So thank you, Sharon, for taking the time out of your busy schedule as a physician to do this interview.
Oh, Kristen, thank you so much for offering this opportunity. I'm actually looking forward to it.
All right, well, let's get started. So share with me your health story and how you weren't being good to yourself.
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. It started when I was little, believe it or not. My youth was one of a lot of challenges internally that I didn't share with anybody. I took a lot of personal responsibility for members of my family that I didn't share. I didn't know how to. There's the phone ringing. Okay. And it affected my self-esteem. I felt like I carried the weight of everybody on my shoulders and I didn't know how to let it go. And then I kept growing up in that mentality of, well, my job here in life is to take care of everybody else. And I became a physician, I became a wife, I became a mother, and I never took care of myself. I was silently suffering, and I felt that was my lot in life, that I didn't know how to, even though I talk about taking care of people every day to every patient that I've seen, I didn't know how to take care of myself. And it showed in my relationships with my husband for a while, with my children, and even in the work environment. I became a very unhappy individual. And I just assumed that was my lot in life, that I'm just there for everybody else. But then I learned about 5 years ago that it's not about that I'm going to be much better at serving other people when I start to take care of myself. I didn't know how, but I was introduced to how we met, our company of health coaching, through a patient of mine. And so when my patient got healthy, and I saw it as an opportunity again to say, well, I have a vehicle to help my patients get healthy. I can do something for more people. It wasn't about me. I said, let me do it. And in order to do that, I had to experience it. I was not comfortable sharing an opportunity with a patient until I knew more about it. And so I was mentored and coached by a patient and his coach, who's now my coach and your coach as well. And I was mesmerized at the outcome. I am still to this day in total awe of what it's done for me personally. The ability to actually just sit here and comfortably have a conversation with you about this and having other people hear it, having confidence and having the ability to not really be bothered anymore about other people's thoughts of who I was, and also not trying to be more than I am meant to be. But yet I was becoming a better person and a better version of myself each and every day. And that has been something I never dreamed would have been possible.
That's awesome. That's just one of the side effects of when we start to actually instill that self-love and self-care into our daily routine. And we feel as though we can give of ourselves more genuinely, more whole, when we realize that we can take a step back and take care of ourselves. And when we do that, big changes happen, and it happens, and it's a ripple effect in all areas of our lives. So yep. I totally get that, Sharon. Absolutely. So what habits and mental well-being practices do you do now daily to be good to yourself?
I think the number one thing that I've done most consistently is sleep well. One of the troubles that I faced for eons was insomnia. I was addicted to sleeping pills. Here I was, a physician, not wanting to write prescriptions for people, and I was getting them for myself. But as I got healthier mentally, my sleep improved, and I realized that the quality of my sleep now and the consistency of what I need to get has kept me level-headed and grounded. I also take care of my body as best as I can every day. And while I don't physically do everything I want to do in terms of maintaining an exercise routine, I eat regularly and I hydrate better than most people, sad to say. And so between sleeping and hydrating myself, I find that that has kept me well focused, able to be able to actually connect with other people, because I feel like I'm functioning my best with those two habits every single day for the last 5 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, it's just those little changes. It's those little micro habits. And when you do those little changes, you know, the side effects are just, you feel good. You just feel good about yourself, and you want to share that with other people, and you want to be vibrant, and you want to, you know, and just express how much better you feel, right? And people may think that, you know, something's wrong with Sharon. You know what I mean? Something's wrong with her. This isn't right, you know?
That's right.
So my last question for you today is, what advice would you give to others, obviously as a physician, as a mom, as a wife, to encourage themselves to be good to themselves?
You know, there's a couple of things that I think are important. Number one is to trust the fact that you need to put yourself first, that you're not being selfish by taking care of your own needs, because again, it makes you a much better person to everybody else around you. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is use support. Find people around you that can guide you, that can support you, that you can feel comfortable sharing some of your vulnerabilities with. I always thought as a physician, I had to keep my emotions to myself. And I used to practice this idea of, you know, if there was something wrong with a patient, I couldn't tell them because, you know, I would upset them, and I have to be strong enough to handle their struggles or their diagnosis. And then I realized, thank goodness, not too far into my career, that I wasn't helping anybody. And so when I let go of that responsibility and I shared what was important with other people, it made it easier for me to take care of myself. And I did the right thing again for my patients. So being accountable to somebody else and having support is the second thing. And then lastly, not really caring about what anybody else thinks. And that was a very big concept. I live in this world of it's my others have of me. And so even though I may not always like or love myself in certain ways, it doesn't mean that other people do or don't like me, and it doesn't really matter. And so not being held to the standard of what normal or best or most improved person is and other people's standards is not what I care about. I care about that I am feeling well, I'm taking care of myself, I'm sharing the best part of me with everybody else. If they love it or like it, that's fantastic. If they don't, that's okay too. It can't affect who I am and what I do every day if they don't like me or they disagree with me. And so trying to fit into what we think is normal today, it's not worth the energy, it's not worth the fight and the self-hate that develops. I used to be someone who would go into an exam room within 4 closed, walls and be able to talk like I knew everything. But inside I was unhappy and I was thinking, are they judging me? Do they think I'm smart enough to take care of them? Do they think that, I don't look the part of their doctor? And what good was that? It didn't matter. It was the relationship and the trust that I had in people, that they had in me. And so again, if you have self issues, let them go. They're not important relative to what you're really worth and what you can do for yourself, and therefore to help other people. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I think there's so many things that I want to be able to go back. If I could go back to myself at the age of maybe 30, a long time ago, and say, hey, listen, this is what you should be doing each and every day to make yourself the best person that you can be, I would do that in a heartbeat. And so that's where I kind of like to not turn into the mid 40-year-old woman and say, where is my life gone? Waking up feeling uninspired and lacking energy and lacking focus, but to say, I'm going to live a vibrant life no matter what anybody else thinks. So I'm not going to judge myself anymore. I'm going to do what I believe and feel is right, and I take care of myself, and then it just is a natural flow. So that's a lot of an answer to a simple question, but it's just, you almost want to shake it into people, because I don't want them to struggle the way I did.
Oh, I love it, Sharon. That was great. That was a great detailed answer, and I love it. I mean, you went into detail about everything, and so I just appreciate you so much for doing this. Thank you for continuing to be good to yourself, Sharon, and for being a good example for everybody. And I just really loved your insight as a physician, and I appreciate all of your help in guiding me on this journey as well. So thank you so much, Sharon, for doing this again, and God bless you. All right, take care.
Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Okay,
bye.